Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Stefana, this is Hallie, and today we are going to be walking you through Liaison's first running short. So, many months of time, effort, design, and thoughtfulness went into these shorts, and I personally love them. I'm really excited to walk you through all of the features behind these shorts and my thought behind the design process to help you understand whether or not these might be a good fit in your wardrobe. If you haven't heard of Liaison before, Liaison is my activewear brand and Hallie is the director of marketing for us, but today she is our team dummy, our mannequin today. I called her dummy, she was like, what'd you call me? But I meant like the dummy that doesn't move. So today Hallie will be just modeling for us as I walk you through the flow short. So I am also wearing the flow short in navy. She's wearing the flow short obviously in black. She's also wearing the Vital Tank in black. I am wearing our t-shirt that will be launching as well in heather gray. So we are gonna get into the flow shorts, starting off with just the material that we ended up using. I have another pair right here so I can come show you up close. The material for the outside is a new material for Liaison. You guys are familiar with our brushed, soft fabric from our bridge short, our bridge pant, and all of our bras that have previously launched. The Vital Tank that Hallie is wearing is also going to be made from that same OG bridge fabric that you're used to, but these are completely new from start to end. There's nothing that you have seen before from these. So the fabric is totally different. It kind of makes like that wishy-washy sound if you rub it together. It's a very athletic, very breathable, very water resistant fabric, and it also recovers very quickly from sweat. So I actually wore these to hot yoga the other day. I wore the navy, and when I tell you, they were literally a whole shade darker, dripping wet. The hot yoga room was like 104 degrees. I wore them, and by the time I was home, they had already almost completely dried. So let's get into the shorts really quick. They're coming in the three colorways: the gray that I was just holding, the navy, and the black. So Hallie is going to spin and face that way for us. The side detailing of these shorts has a scoop line across the bottom and across the front. So the front sits a little bit higher than the back to offer more coverage here. And you'll see that this layering looks almost like it could open up. That's because this piece of fabric on this back side is completely functional. So this piece of fabric moves and can give you that high leg line type of opening that you might have previously seen before on other designs in the shorts industry, in the activewear industry, right? Like a high leg running short isn't really anything crazy or innovative, but something that me being an athlete my whole life, I've worn a lot of running shorts. When I tell you I hated all of them, I hated all of them. They all were either too tight on the thighs or too loose on the waist. And there was a lot of different aspects of running shorts that I had tried over the past almost 20 years now that I wanted to make sure were not included in these shorts. So we brought in some of the best features from shorts I've tried over the past 2 decades and brought them into this design and added some new features that I have literally never seen anyone do before. So up first, the first feature that for me was really important was that high leg that I had already mentioned. This is because I personally am a thick thigh girly, right? And you know when you get a pair of running shorts, you put them on and they are so tight on your legs, and then you're like, how am I supposed to run in this? We wanted to keep that loose leg design, high leg design for full functionality. That way you never got any type of squeezing on your thigh. That being said, you've probably seen, like I mentioned, a high leg short before, and sometimes it can be a little bit exposing, right? If I wanted to sit down and do an ab movement, or if I wanted to climb or something, you might feel a little too exposed. So with that high leg, it gives you all of that functionality, all of that mobility, all of that movement, comfort, freedom, airflow but we added a feature that I've never seen on shorts before to make sure that when you wanted that extra closure, that extra level of protection, you have it. So all of the Flow shorts have a button at the bottom of the back of the short and the front of the short, so that, Hallie, go ahead and lift your knee just here. You see how this opens right now and then close? You can button these shorts closed so that when they're just buttoned, they still lay flat. When you lift, you don't get that exposed leg. So go ahead and drop that back down. They lay completely flat, face forward for us, how? So this side is now closed and this side is open. The button keeps it down, and then you can see the difference. I'm gonna show you an up-close version of what the button looked like. The button is the same color as the fabric, so that if you're not wearing it, you literally can't tell. So from over here, you can't tell, and the gray matches the gray perfectly, as well as the navy. So right here, you can kind of see our button here. That connects to our button here, but otherwise you wouldn't be able to see them. So something that was important to me was having that freedom, all of that room for mobility through that high leg. Also having that option for extra coverage when we need it. For example, if you were at the gym and you wanted to run, these are perfect for running when they're open, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna end my workout with a core circuit, and you're doing sit-ups and you feel like your booty is exposed at the gym. After you finish your run, you can go ahead and button these closed, and then you know you will have all of that coverage that you want when you want it. And then if you wanted that extra skin showing, that extra high leg, you could have that when you want it as well. So you have a lot of options with these shorts. So you could either go closed leg, extra coverage, more support on that side, more protection on that side, or you could go open leg here, or you could close them both, open them both. For the sake of the video, I'm just gonna unbutton this for the rest of the video. But again, when they are buttoned, they lay completely flat on your body. So it's not gonna look bulky. And that being said, when they're not buttoned, they also lay completely flat, and the buttons are the same color. So they're not gonna be standing out. People aren't gonna be like, what are those random buttons for? You're not really gonna notice them unless you pointed them out to someone. So up next, we are going to talk about the inside of the shorts. But as we make our way through the outside body of these shorts, we've talked about the buttons, we talked about this high leg line here. We are going to talk about the pockets. So, like I said, I've been wearing running shorts for a long time, and something that I always hated, especially as women, with clothing, we literally get a pocket that fits 2 Kleenexes, and if you're lucky, a lip gloss. I wanted to make sure that these pockets were so functional that if you were hiking, if you were actually going to wear these to practice, going to wear these for a 5K, going to wear these wherever, to the store, grocery shopping, anything, you can shove everything that you need to into these pockets. So I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna have Hallie unzip her pocket here. I'm gonna show you up close while she's unzipping what these zippers look like up close. So we just have this zipper right here, and there's one on each side of these shorts. So it unzips just like that, and then it lays flat. These pockets are the full depth of the side of this layer on the back of the leg, and it can really fit a lot of stuff. So we are gonna shove some stuff in this pocket so you can see. We got iPhone number 1, we got iPhone number 2. I don't know, should we go digital camera or wallet? Why not both? I don't know, both would fit. So the wallet is now in there. And so in that pocket, we have, right, 2 iPhones and a full entire sized wallet. And then on this side, if you're out with your girls, right, we can get that digital camera in there. And then you could also fit maybe some lip gloss, something else. So obviously you probably wouldn't be wearing them this full on a day-to-day basis, but just so that you have that option when you need it, you know that if nothing else, your phone and everything that you need, your phone and your wallet, your 2 phones and your wallet, your 3 phones, your digital camera and your wallet will all fit in these shorts. That being said, we're gonna empty out these pockets and zip this back up. And just like that, the fabric is extremely resilient. So this fabric, no matter if we were to stuff these pockets and have Hallie stand here like a little mannequin for the next 2 days, the fabric will bounce back and will stay laying flat. So it doesn't matter if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm overstuffing the pockets, I'm scared I'm gonna stretch these shorts out. You will not. This fabric is so resilient, it forms to the shape of what's in the pocket, and then it bounces right back and continues to lay flat. So we made it through the outside body of the shorts. Here is just another up close look in the gray. We just have the longer back seam, the shorter front leg. We have the zippers on the side, and then we have this ruched waistband. Before we head into the details of the inside of the shorts, let's talk about the waistband just for a second. Just like the pockets, this waistband is completely functional. So there are little ties right in here that you can tie or tighten or loosen to any distance that you might need. The liner for these black shorts is black. The liner for the navy shorts and the strings for the navy shorts are navy, and then the liner for the gray is also black. We sampled a white liner, we sampled a gray liner, but we found that the black left the least amount of impression because this is such a breathable fabric. We wanted to make sure that it was 100% squat proof, and doing the black underneath helped make sure that that is how they looked when you were, even if you were squatting in this light color gray. So the gray, the black, the navy, gray with the black liner, black with the black liner, navy with the navy liner and the strings. All of the strings have a metal eyelet on the end, and they are really stretchy. So if you are thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like the strings, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to tighten them, they are very stretchy. That being said, they are totally able to be tied into a bow underneath of here and tucked right inside so that they're not big and bulky. I've also had running shorts in the past where there's strings inside and I'm like, okay, I tied the strings, but now I have a huge bulge right here because the strings are in a knot and they're not laying flat. So we wanted to make sure that we used materials for those strings that would really compress down and sit under the waistband in a way that makes it not too noticeable. I'm gonna rotate you this way. So as you can see, we just shoved that waistband, those ties inside of Hallie's waistband, and there's no bulging through here for that band. And now you guys have seen the outside. Hallie flipped to the back for us. We're just gonna show the details here. Nice and simple, nice and clean, slightly longer in the back for more coverage. Hallie, can you do a squat for us? Thank you, ma'am. Full coverage here, keep going. Thank you, ma'am. So no matter what you're doing here, you're going to have that coverage through your lower glutes. Hallie, face me for a sec. And then last thing to mention here is the very minimal branding. For most of our branding for Liaison, we do embroidery. So we embroider our LL logo to our products. For these running shorts, since they are a more athletic product, we brought back the OG reflective logo that you guys might have seen if you were around during the defining active era. Same exact heat press logo with that reflective silver. That also adds a reflective element if you're running outside or anything like that. So our branding, our only branding on these shorts to make them super, super minimal for you is the word Liaison right here. So I will show you this up close. You probably, even though you already saw the gray shorts up close, you probably didn't even like notice this because it's so minimal. It's really, really sleek. It's really, really minimal. We just have the word Liaison right there. All right, so we are going to talk about the inside of the shorts, but that covers, rotate forward for us, the total body of the outside of the flow shorts that we'll be launching next Tuesday. We are gonna get into the inside. I feel like as women, it is a universal fact that the inside of running shorts has always sucked. You can probably remember times when you were growing up and you would throw on a pair of running shorts for practice, or even last week you might have thrown on a pair of running shorts that are currently your favorite but they still somehow give you a diaper butt, or they have the built-in shorts that ride up every single step that you take. There really hasn't been a lot of progress in this space for the inside of running shorts. I've seen some brands come out with running shorts that have the like sticky material to keep the shorts down. It doesn't work. Take my word, that does not work. It doesn't stay down. I've seen people do the granny panties and then add elastic to it, and that actually makes it look like you have 4 butt cheeks, because otherwise you have to size up and then the whole shorts are too big. And I've seen people do a thong liner that is a G-string in the back and just microscopic in the front. But something that I have never seen someone do before, and something that I am so excited to bring to the table with these shorts, is a seamless thong liner underneath that is built in. I know that if you're watching this and you have owned a pair of running shorts that came with a built-in liner, you have probably at one point taken scissors to them in your kitchen, in your house, cut that shit out, and you're like, I hate this liner so much, I would rather cut up my $50 running shorts than wear this liner. I have a solution for you, and I'm really excited about it. So these Flow shorts have a liner in them, but they have a liner that I think you're gonna be pretty excited about. They have a seamless thong liner. I am using the gray to show you just because we have a great contrast of colors here between the black and the gray liner on the outside. So we have a seamless thong liner. If I'm holding up these shorts, this is what it would look like if they were inverted completely. So if I was wearing these inside out, you can clearly see that there is a built-in liner. And I don't know if you've ever seen a liner like this, because I sure as heck haven't, but when I tell you, I have never put on a pair of running shorts and felt so secure and sucked in and covered, at the same time still being able to benefit from a high leg, a really flattering high leg cut on the side, but knowing that nothing is gonna fall out because of this liner. At the same time, like I mentioned, this is a seamless thong liner. So up close, you can kind of see this liner is so simple. It offers coverage where you want it, but it doesn't squeeze into your butt. I'm gonna have Hallie turn around. I'm gonna show you what this looks like on the actual product. Hallie, can you face me for a sec? So from the side, just the good old pocket like you've already seen. And then if you were to peel this back, you have a high liner here. So you have about like 3 inches of support here, and that support goes all the way around through the front of the shorts, through here, offering extra lower tummy control because you have an extra layer of compressive fabric through that lower tummy area. And then it transitions into a thong. Hallie, rotate with me. Transitions into a seamless thong that cuts through right here. So same thing on this side, the seamless thong liner just right here. If you're thinking to yourself, okay, I feel like I like thongs, I feel like I might like this, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be comfortable, I want you to know that we use a very stretchy fabric on these liners, as well as left you guys a nice wide gusset space that, let me show you something. Listen, let's get personal. Let's be girls for a second. As women, we be sweating, and if you don't have the right materials where you need them, it can cause problems in your lady bits. You know what I'm saying? UTIs, all of that, yeast infections, everything. There are shorts out there with liners. Here's an example from a different brand that has a liner. Not only is this liner a granny panty with elastic, we hate her, we hate that, but also the same material that's used on the butt and on the front is used down through that crotch space, which it's a sweat wicking material, but it's not a cotton-based material like all the doctors recommend for vaginal health. So we have this really sweat wicking material through all of the liner, except the portion for the gusset really down where you need it is made from cotton. So you can kind of see that transition there from our more athletic material into our cotton-based material, so that you have protection where you need it for your vaginal health. that was something that was so important to me. As I've mentioned, I played all the sports. I have tried a lot of shorts. I can remember growing up, I'd be like, there's built-in shorts in these. Should I wear underwear underneath? I'm gonna be sweating and then I'm gonna be uncomfortable there. I wanted to make sure that there was cotton in that area so that when you wore these, you could feel comfortable not wearing another layer underneath of these. The seamless thong liner in these shorts should completely alleviate your need to wear any underwear underneath of these. Think of it like a built-in underwear for this fabric. So again, under here, we just have that seamless thong, and I'm gonna expose Hallie here for a sec. That's just what it looks like when it's laying. And it tucks in there so that if you have that high leg, you have a lot of exposure through here. Again, like I mentioned, you can always button that closed if that's not the type of coverage you're looking for. It will keep that closed, or you can keep it open. But regardless, you're gonna have coverage through the areas where you really, really need it, even if you leave the leg open. I debated for a little bit a couple of other styles. We played with some other ideas here, including the granny panty, the diaper butt. We tried this out. This was one of our samples. A really wide coverage through here. It did not look good. It was not flattering. It gave you 4 butts. It just was not good. It also, every single step I took was riding up. This seamless thong liner will not move no matter what you do. This is gonna stay and keep you locked in exactly where it is when you put them on all day long, even if you are doing high knees, squats, sprinting, anything. The same way that if you were to wear a thong all day long, you don't spend all day adjusting where it's sitting, right? So why should you have to adjust all day long where your shorts are sitting? You shouldn't. Simply put, you really shouldn't. So these shorts, these built-in liner-based shorts, should completely alleviate your need to constantly adjust, your need to wear underwear underneath. Of course, if you feel more confident, more protected, everything, wearing your own underwear underneath, you totally can. The liner is thick enough that if you were to pair this with a thong, you will not get underwear lines. This liner is double lined for extra coverage, extra support. But like I mentioned, we went through the granny panty sample, we went through the diaper butt sample, and then we also tried a sample with the shorts. So I'm sure you guys have had like running based shorts or athletic shorts that have the spandex shorts built in underneath. We sampled that, and every step would ride up because the inseam was so short. If we wanted them to not ride up the way that our 7-inch shorts do, we would need that longer inseam like you see on our bridge short. So back to the liner here. Hallie, face me for a sec. When Hallie does a squat, down she goes. Nothing is coming out. Meet me at the bottom, huh? Thank you. Nothing's coming out, and from the side, this is what it would look like. You have full skin showing. As always, you can button this on that side, but through the back here, Hallie, rotate towards the back and hit that squat one more time. Through the back here, if you were, go ahead and stand up. If you were to do these squats, that liner did not move. The whole time when she goes up and down, it just stays in place. Like I mentioned before, you don't spend all day, every day adjusting your underwear. You won't have to adjust these. You will finally have a pair of shorts that, one, won't give you granny diaper or granny butt or diaper butt, whatever it's called. It won't cut in. It won't give you 4 butts. It won't move when you're walking. You can sprint. When I'm telling you, if I had to run a mile as fast as I could right now, these are the shorts that I would pick. They're long enough through here that they're not going to just ride up and get tight and bunch up like some shorts might. And they have the movement to get airflow where you need it, with the protection where you also need it, back here through that seamless thong liner. Hallie, face forward for us. So there's a lot going on with the flow short. This video kind of broke down everything that went into the actual design of the finished product, but there were a lot of steps that went into this design, a lot of trial and error. So the next part of this video will talk about all of the rounds of samples that it took us to get here, my thoughts behind the design process, and all of that good stuff. But for now, I just want to point out one last time all of the key features of the Flow short. So number one, we have this really, really athletic, wishy-washy type of material. Super breathable, super movable, lots of movement. We also have 2 zipper pockets, one on each side. We have an adjustable waistband that can be tucked into the shorts. We have these open high leg cuts. We have the button that can close to prevent the shorts from being super high cut leg. If you like that coverage, you have that option compared to that. We also have, Hallie, face this way. We have minimal branding right here and a waistband that is about 3 inches tall so that you can have support for that lower belly. On top of that, you have the built-in seamless underwear that are double lined to give you extra support in that lower belly area where you might need it. We also have from the front the shorter front compared to the longer back, and the branding that I just showed you is reflective, just like our first original drops ever, to match the athletic vibe of these shorts. And then finally, like we just discussed, we have, let's unbutton, the seamless thong liner underneath of here that won't move when you wear them, and they also have the crotch made from cotton to help make sure that you have the support for your lady bits where you need them. So, like I said, there is a lot going on with these Flow shorts, and even more than what's going on here went in behind the scenes. So we're going to get into all of the rounds of samples it took us to get to our final product for the Flow short. I'm gonna walk you guys through some of the design decisions that were made when creating the Flow short, because these were very tedious and very challenging for me from a design perspective to make sure that they fit, looked, felt, and just had the exact aesthetic and fit that I knew I would want anytime I reached for a pair of running shorts. So there is a lot to go through. I'm gonna take you through each pair really quickly and just talk about some of the aspects that make the final product so impressive. These are the first pair of Flow shorts that I received as a sample, and honestly, I was so excited about creating these that I wore these everywhere. Even though they sucked, I still wore them everywhere just because I was so excited. So these are them. We sampled them in white. I like to do lots of the samples in white because they are, you know, white's the least forgiving color. You get to see everything. You get to see every crease in the fabric, every way it fits to your body. So we sampled these in white to start out, and the first ever sample did have that kind of granny panty-esque diaper type of liner that we hate. We do not like her, we hate her. On top of that, there were no adjustable drawstrings inside, and the zippers pull from the back to the front compared to the final product that when closed, the zipper sits front to back. So on top of that, the liner inside with the zippers that pull back and no drawstring, the pockets were not connected. So you can kind of see the difference between this pocket here to the outside shell. It kind of, anytime the breeze would blow, you would have this really ugly raw seam sitting out. So these, I give these like a 2 out of 10, and the only 2 points they get are because they were my first idea behind the design. These were the second pair, and again, they are in white, but you might notice that these are literally 4 shades darker than the last pair because I wore the heck out of these. So a couple adjustments that were made to these. I was sampling out the idea of doing the built-in really small inseam shorts inside. So you guys have probably seen running shorts before that have these really thin, soft, kind of short booty shorts underneath, almost like a boy short underwear style, if you've ever tried those. That's what we sampled under this one. And when I tell you, every step I took, my butt cheeks just kept coming out and out and out. It was not good. Same exact thing here. There was still no drawstring. These first two samples actually came together. The only difference is this inside liner. So the next pair will have some of those adjustments that I mentioned in the first clip. Our next sample, don't be mad, we are not launching this pink color for this collection, but the next sample was this pretty little pink color, and there were a couple of updates that we made to this pair. This pair of pink shorts was our first pair that featured the button detailing. So we had these buttons on the side that did make it to the final design, except we ended up matching the button perfectly hue-wise to the color of the shorts so that if you are walking around, you can barely even notice them. This metal button felt really kind of cheap and bulky and didn't really match the flow or the vibe or the aesthetic that we wanted to curate for the final product. So just for a sample, this was okay, but we sampled out this pink color and then we sampled out our first time using these clasp buttons. Something I want to point out is that when these shorts were clasped, it kind of connected too high and led to a lot of inconsistency where it lays down on the leg. So for this pair, the feedback for this sample included wanting to try out those hard edges and also wanting to move that button down. And then we also wanted to see what it would be like to have an increased front rise. So the next sample introduces that front rise, but the front rise ended up not working out because I don't know if you can tell, these shorts are so long and they felt so bulky compared to the shorts, the final shorts that I'm wearing right now. They are so much longer, and this was supposed to be a size small. So anyone who was under like 5'8", I'm only 5'5", and these go down almost to my knees. So we decided not to do the increased front rise through the front of these shorts, but this was our first time getting a sample that included hard ends instead of raw cut ends on the ties for the adjustable waistband. On top of that, we also have the buttons with a matching black button instead of that bulky metal. These buttons were also about a third of the size of the last ones because we wanted them to be as minimal as possible. So that was it for this round of samples. And then the next round of samples took away the increased front seam and brought back that same short type of length. But instead of increasing the front seam through here, because you know how you get shorts sometimes and they kind of sit like this, we thought that increasing the front seam on the front of the shorts would fix that. So instead of increasing that front seam, we increased the front seam of the liner on the inside of the shorts. So we increased the distance from the middle of the crotch down to the bottom of the waistband so that you can kind of avoid getting that pooling or that triangle shape that happens pretty often in a lot of other running shorts that you might try. On top of that, these shorts also sampled the difference between types of zippers that we could use. So compared to the last pair that you just saw, we had this kind of more clean, more aesthetic, more high quality looking zipper. And compared to the last sample, we did sample out this white type of hardware here, but it just felt cheaper, it felt less high quality, and it also just looked a little bit tackier in a way. So for the final design, we did end up bringing back this zipper into the design and matching that plastic piece on the end to the color of the shorts. So you can see here on this plastic piece, there's a black tip, but on the final shorts in navy, for example, there is a navy tip on that hardware. So I just showed you this gray pair and how we increase the distance for that front rise on these inside liners. That being said, you also can see here that there isn't a cotton liner like our final short offers. So for the first few samples for this liner, I noticed that when I was wearing it, it didn't feel super comfortable. It felt almost kind of swimwear-ish, especially after a really, really sweaty workout. So this sample right here brought back that same hardware on the zippers and also brought in for the first time our cotton liner through the crotch. On top of that, this was also our first sample with the pockets sewn down. So you remember on that first white pair that I just showed you, the pockets when you lifted it hung down, and if the breeze blew, it kind of hung down. we added these pockets in here and we sewed them closed. They're sewn closed on both sides here so that if you're wearing these shorts, the breeze blows, your pocket and your back panel are completely connected. So these shorts now had the cotton liner and the button, and now the sewn in panel on the shorts. The next round of samples included all of the features that I just mentioned, the detailing, the pocket sewn down, but now we went back to the bigger buttons just for sample's sake. And we noticed that there was inconsistency for where the button was falling. So you can kind of see here how the fabric is sitting super, super weird through that front panel because the button was not placed in the right spot. When I tell you, it was so tedious to get these buttons to be in the right spot so that when you actually connected the shorts with the button on the final product, it laid nice and smooth compared to how that is sitting over there all bunched up. This took so long for us to finally get this right, but this sample was the first sample where it felt like we were making some progress, but then we got this sample and I was like, what is that? That looks bad. So kind of felt like a step back, but then the next round after this ended up being much better. So this was the first round of samples that I was like, oh, we are on to something nice. This is looking good. So this round here has those zippers. We sampled everything for manufacturing purposes to speed up the sampling process. Sometimes we just ignore colors, ignore details that have already been finalized. So for example, the zipper on this pair is white and the zipper is that like kind of cheaper feeling metal that didn't make it to the final. Even though we finalized that a few samples back, this sample has that on it just to speed up our sampling process. So this was our first time getting a pair of shorts that were actually branded, which was so exciting. We went with this really minimal branding here. You probably can barely even see it here. It just says Liaison in that reflective material. And then this also was our first time having those little buttons that perfectly matched the hue of the outer shell. These shorts also laid so much flatter through here and kind of was the first time where we saw that the fabric wasn't bunching up by the button or anything like that. On top of that, this liner for the gray is white. So we sampled a white liner for the gray, but ultimately decided to go with a black liner for a few reasons. Number one being the most obvious reason, white as a liner when you probably won't be wearing anything underneath of this. For example, like white underwear, like people don't buy white underwear for a reason. So we decided not to do the white liner under here, not only for like kind of visuals and optics for yourself, but also because it didn't offer as much coverage from a squat proofness rating as the black liner did. If you squatted with this gray and the white liner, you could kind of see the white liner because it was so much brighter than the gray underneath. So this pair had our branding on the side, also had that button laying perfectly flat for the first time, and then we were just kind of finalizing the petty details, right? Like the color of the liner and everything like that. So the next round of samples kind of was doing the same thing, just in a different color. This next round of samples included all of the details that we loved so far, including our hardware here, except like I mentioned, sometimes those petty little details just are in a different color or in a different make or model than what we used for the final to speed up our sample production. These were the navy shorts with a black zipper. Ultimately, we decided to do the navy on navy to make everything super clean. And then we also here had our navy buttons for the first time, as well as our first time seeing the navy thong liner that is also featured on the final product here with the navy liner that will be launching underneath this navy shell next week. So on top of that, just to recap, we have the sewn down pockets, we have the buttons that close, we have that increased front rise to avoid that triangle that you might get here sometimes. And then we have the pockets that pull from front to back instead of back to front. And then on this last sample here, we do still have those raw edges for production purposes. But other than that, these were good. This was also our first time sampling the navy with the Liaison logo with the reflection so we could see what that looked like on a color that wasn't silver. So these were, in my opinion, our first sample minus the black zippers that I was like, oh yeah, we've done it. Like this one, I was like, I feel comfortable now. I could comfortably launch this product even though not all the hardware matches and be happy putting it out. So the next sample was the same exact concept as the last gray ones that you saw with the white liner, except we sampled it here with a black liner. So we decided to go with black because it is the most forgiving color as far as stains or anything like that. And also it just really offered the most kind of coverage through the squat proof department compared to having a lighter color underneath. And gray, we tried the gray on a few samples back that you saw, and it just didn't look right underneath. You could see it too much. So we went with that darker black underneath for the liner for the final product to make sure that when you wore these, if you were to squat, you wouldn't be seeing that liner underneath. So on top of that, we just had all of the same details from the last pair. We were mostly just sampling out all of the different liner colors for underneath of this gray option. So you can see here, the button is laying flat just like it lays flat on these. And this was kind of our last pair that was hard work, right? So after this, we made it to the final round. We made it to the final sample. There are a few rounds of shorts from this pile missing, but the only details for those were the pairs that we kind of were just focusing on moving this button up and down. So those buttons, we tried them up, we tried them down, we tried them connected to the fabric in different places, and ultimately we decided to just lay them at the exact spot where the shorts connect so that you don't get any of that kind of overlap or weird placement through that button connection. This was the final pair that is actually going to be launching. So on top of that, we have the navy that I'm wearing and the black that Hallie was wearing earlier in this video. So this gray pair, final pair, you saw us walk through it already, but really quick again, we have that hardware that perfectly matches here. So no cheap, tacky looking zipper pull. It's a very high quality pull. It's durable. Even if your pockets are completely full, this zipper will stay strong and will hold up with all of your movement. We have that black liner like I mentioned before, and we have those hard little aglets on the end of these ties so that you don't have raw edges through the ends of those adjustable drawstrings. We also have the pockets sewn down, and those pockets take up that full back panel. We have the button that matches the exact color of the shorts through here so that if you're moving around, whatever, you really can't see them. So you remember we sampled those metal buttons, we sampled bigger buttons, we sampled smaller buttons. We went with this mid-medium size to make sure that they were strong enough that they're not gonna break on you. Those really small ones were smaller, they were sleeker, but we were nervous that they might not hold up as long if you were really using these super functionally. On top of that, we have the zipper pulls, like I mentioned, that pull from front to back. We have that increased front rise through the liner of these shorts. And we have the branding on the side here, as well as the buttons that connect to meet at the perfect spot, just like that. So this is our final pair of the Flow shorts. Y'all, that was a mouthful. Lots of details, lots of time, lots of thought, lots of energy, lots of resources went into creating these shorts. I'm not gonna stand here and say, these shorts are perfect. They're not perfect, but they are as close to perfect as I could get them without getting hundreds of people's worth of feedback. So this first launch is going to be so important for you guys to get these, hopefully love them. And then if there's anything that you're like, oh, I think I would like this, you can let our team know so that we can implement those changes, just like we implement all the changes you guys give us to make all of our products better over time. So that is the Flow short, y'all. I am so stoked. When I tell you, I wear these every day. I wear them to Pilates, I wear them to hot yoga, I wear them on runs, I wear them to the grocery store. Any movement you're doing, you have options. Even if you're going to hot yoga and you're doing like crazy poses, you're like, Steph, I don't want my cheeks to be out. That is what the button is for. You can just close those shorts up and know you're gonna have all of that coverage here without getting that exposed leg. On top of that, you have that really supportive band through here that tucks your lower belly, as well as that double-lined, thick, compressive layer for that double-lined, seamless thong liner, mouthful. So lots of details here, super, super functional product. I have seen a lot of running shorts in my time, and most of them have been terrible. Even today, I could go into any store right now, put on a pair of running shorts, and find like 20 things that I hate about them. I made it my mission over the past 10 months to create these shorts so that you guys could wear them and want to wear them. I want you guys to want to wear these. I want you to feel confident. I want you to feel supported. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel protected. All of those words are things that I hope that you feel when you try the Flow short for the first time. They are launching in gray, black, and navy on Tuesday, the 22nd. So I can't wait to hear what you think. If you have any other questions about the Flow short, feel free to slide into my DMs or Liaison's DMs, or head to Liaison's Instagram stories and we'll be answering questions there. I love you. I can't wait for launch, and thanks for sticking around and watching this video. Bye.